maybe a letdown spot for the Tennessee Volunteers, who are on the road in Fayetteville, taking on Woo Pig Sooie and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Tennessee laying 13.5 right now at BetMGM. Horvat, what is your confidence to cash?
Yeah, I feel like the metrics and the numbers will tell you Tennessee's a good bet, probably, especially under 2 touchdowns. But I took the points with Arkansas. This is almost like a little mini fade of my Tennessee futures and my Nico Heisman, which, let's be honest, doesn't really look good after Jalen Milroe, what he did last week. But my concern here would be Tennessee's defensive front, that pass rush, which is one of the best in the country, their run game, which is averaging 220 rushing yards against Arkansas's run defense. They could be able to run clock. They're going to hit explosive plays. This could get ugly. I'll take the points with Arkansas. I think this could be a potential look-ahead spot. Tennessee's schedule is going to get much tougher. My concern, though, is Taylon Green, the quarterback for Arkansas. You know, he's already thrown 5 picks this season to just 5 touchdowns. Hell of a playmaker, man, but he's just sloppy with the football. This could get ugly. You can't turn the ball over against Tennessee, but I took the points with Arkansas here. There's going to be an upset. I hope it's not here, but I could see this being a sleepy spot for Tennessee. So I'm going to go with Arkansas. I'm guessing the model is going to disagree with me, though.
Muy interesante. Numbers near and says Tennessee, number 9 EPA per play offense, numero uno in the country EPA per play defense. Arkansas 63 in offense, 60 in defense. The projection at College Football Insiders: Volunteers 39.58, Hogs 16.41 for a difference of 23.17. Lay the chalk, says the EPA data out there at College Football Insiders. But Horvat says he's taking Arkansas plus the points. All right, maybe the game of the weekend, Washington laying 2.5 against the University of Michigan. Are the Wolverines going to be humbled here, Horvat? Your confidence to cash.
Yeah, I wanted to make this my sledgehammer special, man, but the number just got out a little out of hand. I didn't expect to see the Huskies as a 3-point favorite. I think that the number's about right. It makes sense. I just took the money line, and I would still do so. Hell, I would even lay the 3. I know, okay, so we had Max on, and he made a good point. Washington, last year, that was the best offensive line, one of them in the country. They had to replace that offensive line with 5 new starters. They struggled a little bit to hold up against the pass rush, and that's where Michigan's awesome. 10th overall, I believe, in run defense grade, number 1 in pass rush grade, 4th in the country in sacks. I just wonder, like, is this a game where Josiah Stewart and Derek Moore and Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant, like all those guys, are they going to look to get natural pressure? Or are we going to get Wink Martindale looking to blitz 60% of the dropbacks against Will Rogers? I trust Will Rogers in the spot, not to turn the ball over. He's getting rid of the ball in 2.48 seconds, so he's going to get rid of the ball quickly. And then if I'm Washington on the defensive end, I'm stacking 8-9 in the box, and I'm going to say, Alex Orji, beat us with your arm, man, because Michigan's run the ball on 65% of their plays over the last 2 weeks, the second highest rate in Power 4. So I'm going with Washington. I think they win this game outright.
All right, projection is Michigan 21.90, Washington 21.49, advantage Wolverines, but I agree. I'm going to lay the chalk there, Washington. They spring. It's not even an upset. They cover.
Talk about this SMU-Louisville game, because SMU takes care of a bad FSU team, although I thought FSU actually outplayed them in the first half, and then they just, went full FSU in the second half this season. And then you had the Cardinal drop a tough one to Notre Dame. I just thought that was a bad spot. You think this is a bounce-back spot for Jeff Brom's bunch? I'm looking at them right now as only 6.5-point favorites against SMU this weekend.
100%. And I should probably have locked that in before I jumped on your fine radio program. All right, so
use that for the locks pod.
Yeah, don't worry, don't spoil it. I'll be using it Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, youtube.com/cover3. Come get these locks. All right, so I think you hit the nail on the head, right? Like, you've got even when DJ has the one throw where, like, he's got it. It looks like it's all good. Bounces off the guy's face mask into the hands of a defender. Like, you are correct. The 26-point margin for Florida State SMU probably could have been closer. And if you're Louisville, man, honestly, they're coming out of that game, I think, with more confidence, because they were able to, like, they were just shooting themselves in the foot time and time again. And it was, like, just dumb stuff. Like, I really felt like Louisville showed a lot of the good of what they can be, showed a lot of the reason why so many teams had circled them as another one of those teams to watch in the ACC. So I do think that for SMU, like when you played in the American Athletic Conference, you had big games, right? Like when you go against a Tulane, when you go against the Memphis, UTSA a couple years ago when they were running hot and had Frank Harris at quarterback, like you had some battles. But here in the ACC, no one's mistaken it for the best conference in college football, but it is a dramatic step up in terms of the level that you have to play. There is no Charlotte on that schedule. There is no Rice this year on that schedule. This is going to be a spot where you're going to go, from that Florida State game playing against some real athletes to doing it again 1 week later against Louisville. And again, I think that the self-inflicted wounds that they had at Notre Dame, I expect will be corrected, especially playing at home. And for SMU, it might be the beginning of some wear and tear from the ACC schedule.
Currently, the Wolverines are catching 2.5 points in enemy territory. Do you feel that the Maize and Blue are going to somehow win this game, or are they going to be on the wrong end and the Huskies really assert their bite?
So I understand, I understand the number. The number makes sense based on, a lot of power ratings. I'm not far off on it myself, and I think the way that it's been bet, kind of hanging around those numbers, it's clearly not way off. But my edge on this game is at the line of scrimmage because Washington entirely reconstructed its offensive line, and they've done okay, but they have played nothing like what we're going to see from Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, Josiah Stewart off the edge, like the rest of this Michigan defensive front. I just think it's such a step up in competition from what Washington has done. Throw in any lingering effects from cross-country travel since they were at Rutgers just last week. Throw in just sort of the general struggles that Washington has had where when they get to scoring opportunities, red zone inside the 40, they're having trouble getting touchdowns. And even when they're kicking field goals, they're missing field goals. Like there's a lot of minus points that happen, even if Washington statistically, their success rate, the way they're moving the ball, all that checks out. But I'd be concerned about Washington not being great at the details against a Michigan team that is their ceiling limited 100%. But man, their floor is really, really high, and they don't make those same kind of mistakes often. So I like Michigan in that spot. I understand why the number is the way it is, but I'll gladly take the 2.5.